I want you to know that that was the warm-up act. Did you listen to the lyrics? So near and yet so far. And where do we go? Head games. Isn't that what we're doing in almost every aspect of life? Head games. So I'm going to use the most simple analogy that I've come up with to explain how the law works. So first off, we are an expression of the infinite. And as an expression of the infinite, the law responds to and through us. So let's take that infinite and let's pretend that the infinite is this projector that is shining this light beam. And this light beam knows nothing of judgment. It knows nothing about favoritism. It only knows to shine. And then what happens with this light beam? Something is put in front of it, a slide. So when we're growing up, when we're a little baby, what happens? That slide that's being put in front of that light beam is the slide that's created by our parents. It's created by our grandparents, other children. So that slide gets filled in, and because we're not able to create the slide yet, we sort of take in that slide, and our life experience becomes heavily influenced by society around us. And we shine it there. And so we start to wonder, how do I take my power back? And that's when we start becoming more spiritually mature, when we start to realize that we have the ability to choose. We have the ability to choose, and in the ability to choose, we start to create an atmosphere. But here's about that atmosphere, and this is really critical, is we cannot demonstrate beyond our ability to mentally conceive or mentally provide an equivalent of. So to the degree that we create this image, we cannot have that in our experience. And it was fascinating. I'm going to use my entire foundations class. A lot of them are here today. And we're writing spiritual mind treatments, which is our form of how do we do affirmative prayer. But we're not asking, beseeching, we're declaring into law. And what I wrote on every spiritual mind treatment this week was, how does the law know what to give based on what was written? Here's what we do. We tend to be very, very general when we're asking for something. We don't tend to give it the juice, the meat, the feeling, the convictions, the details, the colors, all of the stuff that needs to go around it. And I'm going to use, an example would be, I declare and I want perfect health. Well, if you give that command to the law, do you think the law's got quite a wide variety of how it gives it to you? Now, do you think if you gave the law this command, I know that I live in a perfect, healthy, athletic, virile, 25-year-old male body. I know that this body is 6'1" tall. 180 pounds. It has a 32-inch waist. It has 10% body fat. It is athletic. It has endurance. It can do all things. It sees perfectly. It hears perfectly. It tastes perfectly. It smells perfectly. It touches perfectly. It has perfect tendons, ligaments, muscles, bones, joints. It has perfect arteries, veins, nerves. It has perfect tissue, glands, organs. It has a perfect mind. And all the plus 100 trillions of cells within that body are constantly rejuvenated by this infinite power and presence to replace itself and regenerate and recreate this healthy 25-year-old male body. Have you given the law a picture? And the law says what? Yes. The law never says no. The law only gives what we put into it. And what we don't put into it, it can't hear. And so what it does is gives us an experience of average. Let me just say this about average. Average sucks. Can I be any more clear about that? Who here wants to have an average experience? Oh, I've got my 3 single girls in the back over there. Say hi, single girls. They're in back. And so the single girls, unless they go out with an intention, oh, I'm on a date that is going to be friggin' fabulous. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. What are they going to have? An average date. If you're going out to a restaurant and you go out with no intention whatsoever, what kind of meal are you probably going to have? Average meal. Now, I'm going to be very honest. A couple weeks ago, I went to Meatloaf, and I didn't really set an intention. I've never not done an intention when I go to a rock concert. Guess what we got? A below average experience, and we left. His chops are gone. I didn't affirm that the chops were there. You see, I'm responsible for my experience. Are you hearing that? Only Lee Wolak is responsible for what Lee Wolak experiences because Lee Wolak sets the intention. He receives. It's through his filters, his perceptions, that he correlates all of this and then radiates back into the world the energy that he has desired. Now, I can't do that for you. You have to do that for you. So when we're talking about creating this experience, I'm really going to go into a little depth here. Because we create consciously by directing our focus on what we think, how we act, how we feel, what we believe, what we visualize, what we read, what we talk about, what we listen to, what we may express in any manner whatsoever. You see, we are this thought medium. We are this thought, figure this is Velcro. It's all Velcro right here, right now. And anything that you don't choose to put on it, you're leaving space for the law of averages to come throw up and stick on your Velcro. And when it sticks up on that Velcro, it's what you've consciously chosen. It's what's been thrown up there that gets put on the slide, and that's a slide through which infinite energy shows and makes your life experience. So if your life experience is average, if your life experience is not what you want, it's because you have not yet claimed your power. And did you hear the word there? You have not yet claimed your power. Because this power knows nothing of the past. It doesn't put any weight in the past at all. This power knows what is that person's belief in this very moment. How are they speaking in this moment? How are they feeling in this moment? How are they acting in this moment? What are they reading in this moment? What are they listening to in this moment? What are they watching in this moment? How are they communicating to others in this moment? And this power and presence assimilates all of those things. All of those things, and it creates a perfect slide based on what we've given it. And that slide in front of that projector goes right up there and goes whoosh. It's so perfect. You know, one of the hardest questions in dealing with this principle that I ever get asked is, what about the babies? What about the babies? Do you see? From the infinite perspective, there is no life and death. Because everything is eternal, because everything is created out of the infinite. So this is just a human experience that we as individuals are having and that baby is having. That baby is a full soul. It is an infinite soul. It is a connection of soul. But when that baby comes into human form, it absorbs the atmosphere of everything around it. And it has that experience. It's not good. It's not bad. It's the experience. The experience we're having here in Frisco, Texas, is far different than we were in Baghdad, Iraq. We're blessed to be where we are. We're blessed to be surrounded by a different mental energy, a race consciousness. So the average here in Frisco, Texas, versus the average in Baghdad, do you think we're going to have different average experiences? Oh, yes. Do you think women have more power and more rights here in Frisco, Texas than they do in Baghdad? Heck yes. The question is how do we shift our individual consciousness and create a bigger consciousness from where we are so that more and more people like us around us can start to see it, feel it, and start to begin to emulate it. Remember, there's a lot of great charities out there. There's a lot of great works out there. But truly the only thing that you can change is your own consciousness. Truly the only thing that you can do is become the power and presence in the world that you desire to be. And it is through your exemplification of that power and presence that the world is shifted. You see, the universe doesn't care what you say. It cares who you are. And if you look at each one of those items up there, if you were to say, who am I? You've got to ask all those questions. And you've got to be able to give that answer. The one question not up there is, who are you? And that's the biggest step that you've got to make in the teaching of Agape or in the teaching of any New Thought churches. Who are you? I believe that we are expressions of the infinite. I believe that because the infinite is infinite. There's nothing but it. It has always been, it always will be. It's omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. Therefore, if that is the case, then the infinite as one created the many, which are still the one. And so the power of the infinite is within me to express and to experience, and I'm here to do that. And I'm not about growing. There is no such thing as growth. Can I be really clear about that? I'm into my spiritual growth mode. No, you're not. You're into your spiritual awakening mode because everything you want is right here. And as you grow into that, as you become aware of it, and you embody it by doing all these things, everything in alignment with what you desire, you become a powerful and conscious creator. And here's the thing, now you live in positive expectation. There is no such thing in my mind as positive thinking, but there is positive expectation. There is directed thinking, and with directed thinking, knowing the power behind it, we can be positive that the right things or the things we've chosen are now coming to us. So I really want you to reframe and start to refocus your mind based on, you may have heard this differently. I'm asking you to hear it this way. You are an infinite power and presence. And the power and presence within you responds to all aspects of what you think, do, say, feel, read, talk about, watch, listen to, whatever. And you have the ability in any moment to create something that the world has never seen. You, each of you, has the ability to find your unique gift and bring that gift and be of service in the world. That is your role. That is your destiny. That is why you're here. There is no God plan for you, but there's a plan that's in your heart desiring to be expressed. When you embody this idea, there are no more head games because you now control the head. You've got the control of the mind. This powerful, creative, intelligent force that responds to the nature of our thought is now in your hands. My question to you is, what are you going to do with it? Let's pray. I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.